Hello, hello, welcome to another episode. Today we have with us two very special guests. We have Shitcoiner OP, which is Devaiah Bopana, gatherer of shitcoins, down 95% in his portfolio. Glad to still see that you have a house and hope your child still has a college fund.
Slowly, the cot has disappeared, the bed has gone on the floor.
And we also have another very special guest. You saw him narrate the most beautiful story last time around. You saw him on this channel. Give it up for presenter OP, that is Kash Danda. Kash is here today to give us another one of his presentations. Presenter OP, over to you. What are we discussing today?
Thanks for having me, Tanmay. Today, we are going to be talking about probably the most asked question that comes across my desk, which is how do I actually start to work in crypto? How do I get a job? How do we make it happen? So today we're going to be focusing pretty heavy on like some tactical tips that are going to help you kind of level up in your career and join the new age workforce. So 3 things to cover. First one is like why you should even think about doing this. Second, we'll go through some of the common myths that your friends or family might have and give you some tools to start to dispel those. And then we'll get into the meat of things of how do you actually get a job. So let's start with why you should work in Web3. And the first thing that you should know is that you probably shouldn't. For a lot of people, it's not going to be a very good fit. Working in crypto is definitely stressful. It's going to be much more stressful than working at a bank or working, in a grocery store or whatever else it is. It's super volatile. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the prices, they go up, but they also go down a lot.
Oh, they go down? Oh, that's crazy.
No one tells you that up front. Yeah. That's why you can trust me. I'm the honest guy. I will tell you, those prices, they sometimes go down too. One of the most beautiful things about the crypto markets is that they're always on there. It's 24/7. But the downside is that you also then have to be always on. So none of these things scare you. And if you're still interested in kind of doing all the fun stuff, there are a bunch of reasons why you should join crypto as well. Let's start with the first reason. I'm framing this as jungle gyms over career ladders. In traditional world, it's important to learn how to climb the career ladder. You get a degree, you join as an associate or as an analyst. After 3 years, you become an associate. After 3 years, you become a director, and so on and so forth. The problem with this is that if you are a very talented person, or if you are a person with a lot of ambition and drive, this sucks, right? You are forced to follow on the same path that everyone else has to go on. Okay. And that is a bad way to live. In crypto, the benefit here is that your abilities matter much more than your age. So if you work at Google, if you want to have an idea and you want to get it approved, there's, 20 meetings that have to happen. It'll take you a few weeks or months. In crypto, if you have an idea, you go out and build it because output matters most. Here's like a perfect example. One of our favorite guys from Superteam is this guy named Kunal. He's 16 years old, dropped out of high school because he's doing so well in crypto, right? And now he has a full-time job in crypto as well. He's the lead engineer at WordCell, right? Very difficult for a 16-year-old to become a lead engineer at any kind of traditional company. Think about what Kunal is going to be doing when he is 25. He'll have a decade of experience already in the game. You cannot get that anywhere else.
Kunal is a real person and not an animated emoji. Just want to let you guys know. This is just his avatar online.
Reason number 2, why you should work in crypto, is you get to be free range. In traditional industries and traditional jobs, you have to be one thing, right? You are a developer, or you are an ad writer, or you are an accountant, or whatever else it is. In Web3, you get to do everything all at once. So you can be an employee at a project, you can have a project on the side as a founder, and you can invest as well, right? Our guy, Raj Karia, he loves memes. So he started something called Meme DAO, which is a group of people who just like to create memes about crypto. He's an advisor at Gari on a community advisory board that Superteam set up there. He does his own investing, and he's the founder of his own project as well, called Truts. The point is, you don't get boxed in crypto in the same way. People expect and are delighted when you have other projects going on the sidelines as well. Reason number 3, weirdos are wanted here, right? Being weird in the traditional world can make it very hard to get a job. And the story I'll share is like my own story, right? Like these are the jobs that I've had. I used to, my first job, I collected carts in a Target parking lot, like a big box store, right? Then I worked in a museum for a little while. Then I studied philosophy. Then I was a concert promoter. I ran my own agency. I did innovation consulting. And now I'm here like helping to run a DAO as a Sherpa. there's no straight line through any of this, right? If I tried to apply for a job at Google, they would laugh me out of the building, right? There's no chance that they want someone like this. But again, in crypto, having a diversity of interests is perfectly acceptable because what they want to see is, do you get shit done on a consistent basis? Do you follow through?
The interesting thing there is, like, you could also get into crypto at any point in your life. You don't have to be young. Like, I don't think it should be like, you're 16, 17, you should get into crypto, but like you can start anywhere at any age, because I think there is no hierarchy, right? Like, so you don't feel like, you're taking a few steps down and you're joining somewhere as a junior in a new industry.
Yeah. That's actually a byproduct of the infancy at which the industry is, right? Like,
Correct.
It's very possible that in the next 10 years, the industry matures to a degree that it gets a lot more saturated. The same career paths and the same linear script everyone might have to follow.
Maybe 10 years from now, there'll be casual Fridays suddenly. Those kind of things will start creeping in.
Maybe.
I think it's such a great point. The best career advice I ever got, it was when I was here in the agency CEO kind of phase. And I was like, hey, I've done all these different things. I don't have like a clear expertise in anything. And one of my mentors told me, well, you have two choices. One is you can spend 10 years and become an expert on something. Or two, you can go find an industry where there are no experts yet. And then in a very short period of time, learn a lot and become an expert in that industry. And then reason number 4, and this is probably what a lot of people are thinking about at home, it pays really well to work in crypto. That's just a fact, right? And that's largely a byproduct of supply and demand. There is just not enough talent to service all of the demand for talent that is in crypto. You would have seen literally billions of dollars being poured into these companies, right? So there's a massive imbalance that anyone watching this can take advantage of right now. And the best part is you oftentimes get paid closer to global rates than you would to Indian specific rates.
Yeah, this is a chance you can make money in a global asset now, sitting at home, doing the same kind of work you'd be doing in India. So that's kind of cool.
It's something that we're already seeing as well. So again, another Superteam member here, Anmol, a.k.a. it's Andy. He started a Web2 job on Monday. We got him a Web3 offer on Tuesday. He quit his Web2 job on Wednesday. And by Thursday, he had 3x his salary, right?
Wow.
The amount of money in the space is mad. Here's a little chart that we put together as well that shows just how crazy it can be. On the Web2 side, these numbers are pretty low. And they're much lower in India than they would be, for example, in the United States. But because there's more of this kind of global approach to hiring and payments in Web3, you end up getting these really quick kind of like 3x increases, 4.5x in some cases for things that are particularly rare and important in crypto. And as a quick side note, and I think it's important to make this, getting paid in tokens is way better than getting paid in equity, right? In a traditional Web2 tech company, if you join, you get some salary and then you get some ESOPs or some kind of equity arrangement, right? Equity is good. That's where all your upside ends up being. But the problem is that equity is not very liquid. And when we say liquid, we mean that it's not easy to like move in and out of it, right? If you have equity in Zomato, for example, or whatever other project, as they were kind of coming up, you were only able to sell it every so often. There was a very small number of people that were kind of like eligible or whitelisted to buy it. And it was generally a bit of a problem. So you needed to have like the right perfect timing work out in your favor. If you're getting paid in tokens instead, tokens are always liquid and they're available on 24/7 global markets, no matter what stage the project is at. It's better on pretty much every dimension than working in any other industry, except that it is more stressful. So if you can balance some stress, if you can accept that pain.
Of course, it's like 80% down right now, but sure.
All right, now. So that leads us perfectly into the myth busting portion of this segment. So let's start off with some myths. Myth number 1, the markets are down. I should wait until the bull market resumes, right? We hear this from a lot of people. We're like, oh, I was really excited to join when when ETH was at 4,000. And now that it's down back at 1,000, maybe I should wait a little while. This is a myth, as you could probably tell by the giant word on the slide, because the truth is, this is literally the best time to get a job in crypto, right? This is just fundamental finance, right? You want to buy low and sell high. So if you're able to get a job now and start earning in tokens now, when the markets universally are down 80%, if we just have a simple bull run, we don't even have to break all-time highs, right? Let's just get back up around that same region. You're looking at an 80% upside. Myth number 2, it's all crypto bros. This is like something that's plagued the industry because it was true for a period of time where it was mostly just a bunch of dudes with a pretty specific kind of culture, we'll say, that was not very welcoming to others in the space. But fortunately, because the industry is starting to mature and more talent is coming in, that's no longer the case. The truth is now there are more women than ever before, and they're more joining every day, right? So I talked to a lot of like both young and not so young women who are like, I don't really want to get involved in that space. It feels like I'd be joining like an investment bank or something like that, where it's all just guys kind of being guys. Not the case. There's a ton of great organizations out there. I'll shout out Phoenix DAO is a great one. Super Women, which has no relation to Superteam, but it's just doing good work on this front. Meta Gamma Delta is another great one. We can maybe put those links down below.
Yeah, let's link them in the description. Yeah.
Working in crypto is really high risk, right? I think people sometimes think too much about like, oh, since crypto assets are high risk, that means working in crypto must also be high risk. But that's not the case, right? To be sure, some projects are Ponzi's. Most of the projects that Devaiah is investing in are probably Ponzi's. Right? But if you create an anti-Devaiah portfolio and look at those projects, then you'll have some like real upside, right? There are plenty of very sustainable business models. Exchanges are an example. But ultimately, even if you join a project that fails, you are still going to be more employable, because what other employers want to see, even in Web2 or in traditional organizations, is do you have the appetite and the ability to really deliver and kind of chart new waters. I'm not a developer, so I can't participate. Again, this is something that was true a few years ago, where really it was just devs that were needed to kind of build out these early protocols. But the truth is now there are actually more non-technical jobs available than technical jobs. As the industry has matured and as the builders have started to build things, they very quickly have realized that just building things and hoping that people come to it does not actually work, right? So you're seeing tons of jobs available on marketing, on design, on community management, on business development and partnerships, on legal and policy work. All of these are now available. I mean, like, look at the three of us. None of us are technical on this call right now, and all three of us work full-time in crypto. As you're trying to go into crypto, a lot of people think, oh, well, I can't get involved because I only understand like Bitcoin, or I only really understand Ethereum. And there's this whole wide world of things that I need to know. And the truth is, you don't. If you try to learn everything, you will go insane. There is not enough time in 10 lifetimes to learn all the stuff that's happening in crypto. It happens fast. So just pick a niche, pick something that interests you. Maybe you're really into NFTs. Maybe you're really into DAOs or DeFi or something else, and just stick to that. That'll make your life a lot easier as you actually try to start to get a job. All right, and that segues very nicely into, how do you actually get a job? So here's the step-by-step playbook for how you can start to get a job, right? First thing you got to do, figure out your risk tolerance. This is the step that a lot of people skip, and then they skip this and they end up in unhappy roles, and it just causes a lot of problems. So you got to figure out your risk tolerance. Then you got to build your proof of work, and then finally use cheat codes. Do the things that other people are not going to be willing or able to do. We'll go through each of these one by one. You have to think about what kind of person are you? And I like this framework here of explorers, pioneers, and settlers, right? None of these are any better than the other, but each of them has a slightly different kind of mental approach to the game. So let's start off with explorers, right? This is our guy, Nikola Tesla. He's out there living on the cutting edge. What he wants to do is like really discover novel things that have never existed before in the world. And as part of that, his risk tolerance is insanely high because he knows that most of the time it's going to end in failure. So if you are this kind of person where your specialty is getting things off the ground, doing that hard work of taking things from 0 to 1, starting to validate ideas, that is going to make you look more towards early stage projects, novel use cases that haven't existed before, right? So maybe that means you should go join a DAO. New dApps or novel use cases, things like streaming payments is another good example of that, right? The second type would be pioneers. Steve Jobs is a pioneer, right? What he was really good at, what his unique skill set and what his unique appetite was for taking that cutting edge stuff and making it usable by large masses of people, right? So there's still a lot of risk involved because you don't know if you're going to be able to do that translation. But if you can take projects from 1 to 10, you have a lot of upside, right? You have a very generous salary and you're going to get a lot of token compensation. So you're going to want to look for projects that are in particular areas where they already have some demonstrated value on the cutting edge and now just need to start to scale up, right? So infrastructure projects here are great. Emerging layer ones are great.
Just to be clear, these are examples that Kash is giving. Doesn't mean you literally are confined to these examples.
The last group to talk about, right? Maybe you don't really fit into either of those two previous groups. You might be what we call a settler. Those are the people who are really taking things from 10 to 100, right? We've started to demonstrate that this is something that could be interesting. The pioneers have kind of showed that it is interesting to some group, and now the settlers need to really start to scale that up, right? So if you are the kind of person who really excels at operations, for example, or just systems-based kind of thinking, whether that's in development or in design or in any other field, marketing, this is going to be a great place for you to go. Your risk tolerance will be lower because typically for these roles or these companies, it's going to be higher salary and lower token compensation. So projects like exchanges, which throw off billions of dollars in profit and they work really well, are great. Working at places like Ethereum or at dApps that are really well established, right? Like
a.k.a. Compound, yeah, a bunch of them, yeah.
The reason I'm spending time on this, again, is if you mistakenly think that you are an explorer and you end up at an exchange, you are going to be unhappy because you're going to feel like, hey, I'm not really getting to do the experimentation that I want to do. And it's going to be a bad fit for you and for the company hiring you, right? So start here, figure out what kind of person you are. That'll direct what kind of opportunities you should go after. Once you have figured this out, the next obvious question is, well, how do I get the job that I want to get? And here the answer is you need to build proof of work. In our case, what we mean is much more literally proof that you have done work, right? 3 steps to this. The first one is you need to learn a bunch of stuff. What you need to do is synthesize your learnings and start to make them public, right? You want to start to share them out into the world as you're learning, right? Build in public has become in vogue in the last few years. Learn in public is the new way to do things. From there, you want to start to make things, right? And this is really the critical piece. A lot of people are good at learning, not as good at actually making things. You need to create things of value in the world. I'll share a bunch of examples of that in a second. But the critical thing is you need some kind of tangible output, right? Remember what I said earlier. Output matters more than credentials. So you need to actually be creating things in order for your profile to get recognized.
Correct.
And then finally, you need to get good at shilling yourself. And this is a place where a lot of Indians can be uncomfortable. A lot of people generally can be uncomfortable, but you have to become your own PR agent. So how do you actually make this proof of work? What does that look like tangibly? It'll depend on what your skill sets are and what you're trying to build a reputation around. But here are a bunch of examples, right? I'm not going to go through all of these because that is going to be super boring.
But you can screenshot this right now and do it yourself.
This building proof of work, really important. A lot of people are already starting to do it. But if you really want to get ahead, this is the real alpha that we're about to deliver here. So this is the reward for watching this far into the video. 3 cheat codes. The first one is Discord. The second one is Twitter. The third one is just generally thinking ahead. For Discord, here's how to use Discord as a cheat code. If you follow this 6-step plan, I would be willing to bet that you will find a job in less than 6 weeks, probably less than 4. Here's exactly what you do. Find a project that you think is interesting. You can go to a number of websites, DeepDAO, DiscoverDAOs, or a bunch of others to join their Discord. Most of these Discords are free. Anybody can join. Spend a few days in that Discord just seeing who is active, see who's chatting a lot, right? You might also chat a little bit, throw in some questions, share a valuable resource, share a tweet that you wrote, things like that. But at first, just kind of get a sense of the land and understand who's important. Once you understand who the active members of that project are, not just the core team members, but the active community members, DM those people, send them a private message and ask what kind of problems they see in the project that should be solved. And then create a plan to solve those problems. If you can, best case scenario, just go ahead and solve them permissionlessly. If you need budget, if you need approval, if you need access to the core team, take that plan and send it to the core team members of that project. And I guarantee you will get at the very least a meeting. And in the best cases, you will get a job.
This is like so cool. No, it's like, you have a favorite company, you can go hang out in that company and then just meet their people and speak to them and start solving problems for them to impress them. I think this is like the most coolest part about
Discord is like the company's lobby, right? You just end up meeting people who are.
And the difference is if you're like trying to get a job at Facebook and you just hang out in Facebook's lobby and like grab Zuckerberg as he walks by, like the police are going to get called on you, right? But in crypto, people like really love when you do this. They love to see the kind of this proactive approach, assuming that it's based in like actual problems that exist. Next up, second cheat code is Twitter. Now, Twitter is a tough cheat code to share because I think everybody on this call has kind of mixed feelings about using Twitter, I would say. You become an expert on a project that you're working on. Maybe they don't have a Discord. Maybe you're just not into that kind of atmosphere. So if you, again, just spend a few hours putting together a comprehensive plan of how you can add value. When I say comprehensive, this might be a 5-minute video. It might be like a 5-page overview document of a strategy or a plan that you could do. Send your plan to the founders of your chosen companies. Even if they don't respond here, this is the real beauty of it. You're creating proof of work, right? So you can still post your plan publicly on Twitter and say, hey, if I worked at a.k.a. or if I worked at Sabre, this is what I would do, and write a Twitter thread about it. Last cheat code here is to skate where the puck is going, as we say, right? The idea is you want to think ahead a little bit. What does blockchain need next? Start to develop those skills today. Obviously, we still need more blockchain developers. So if you are a developer of any kind, you can learn Solidity, you can learn Rust in just a few months, and you will start to do very well. For each of these, I've also included a little idea of proof of work, of like what you can do to show that you have these skills. So the other thing that we really need are security auditors. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's been a few hacks in crypto. Money is kind of flying around. There's a great line that every smart contract is a bug bounty, because every smart contract that holds funds, anybody can go in there and get the money, right? So go learn how to audit code and go win a bug bounty on a site called ImmuneFi or through Superteam if you want to do it that way. Somebody from our community, they found a bug worth $36 million. They reported it in public, and they got a job paying 6 figures at one of the premier crypto companies, right? This is a path that really works. Number 3, game designers. This is huge right now. Everybody wants game designers. Web3 gaming is going to be a very big deal, but these games take a long time to develop, so they need more talent. Number 4, partnerships and biz dev. Partnerships are in Web3 what marketing is in Web2. It's all about kind of creating integrations and building on top of each other, being fully composable. And then finally, legal experts. The legal kind of landscape around crypto, to put it very nicely, is complicated and foggy, right? We just need more people who have the expertise and the ability to start to dive into this. And further, if you do any of these little proof of works that I put onto the side here, shoot me personally a DM on Twitter. I'm at Kash Donda. And I would love to talk to anybody that can do this. We are very actively looking for security people, game people, partnerships people, and many others. Last thing to point out here, if you're feeling ready to go, you're feeling inspired and you want to look for one more kind of cheat code, one bonus cheat code, that is start building. Join a hackathon. As of, I think literally yesterday at the time of recording, the Solana Summer Camp Hackathon has just launched. 5 million US doll hairs in prizes and funding available. What's really cool here is that they've set up a board. So if you're looking to join a team, you can just go to solana.com/summercamp, sign up and find a team. They will help match you with teams that need your specific skill sets. Again, another Superteam community member here, Parag, he used the Discord cheat code. He got into Superteam, was really active inside of Superteam, started doing things like events and so forth for us. He then joined a company called WordCell during the Riptide hackathon. And now after WordCell won at the hackathon, got funded, he's head of marketing at the ripe old age of 20 years, 21, something like that. So again, this is another cheat code here. Go join the Solana Online Summer Camp Hackathon.
Yeah, so we made a video about the launch of the Solana Hackathon. We're going to play that at the end of this video. Check it out. It stars Johnny Lever. Exciting stuff. We want to make India the biggest participant in the hackathon. I think I can reveal this, but we're currently leading most other countries. We're actually at number 1 right now, and we want to be number 1 on the last day of the hackathon ending. So make sure to go check out the link in the description.
The last thing to shout out here, right? If you're interested in getting a job, and this video has gotten you a little bit excited about this, come join the Superteam Talent Network. What we do is connect talented people to opportunities. Join the Superteam Talent Network, talent.superteam.fun. There are something like 50 essays and tweet threads that'll help you understand everything from how to negotiate well, how equity works, and how token compensation works, specific resources on partnership building, on design in Web3, and so on. And if you join the Talent Network, we will try actively to get you a job in crypto.
Make sure you check that out, guys. And if you are still interested to get into the Superteam Discord, Kash is the man right there. Show your proof of work, get into Kash's DMs, get into the DAO. Or if you already know what you want to do, join the Talent Network. Kash will help you get a job as well. Thank you, Kash. This was very interesting, and I think very useful for anybody who's looking to get into Web3. I'm going to leave all the links that Kash spoke about in the description. Make sure to check it out. On that note, thank you very much, Devaiah. Thank you very much, Kash.
Thanks, Kash.
I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
ऐसा कोई इंजीनियर है जो हैकाथॉन में पार्ट ना ले? ऐसा कोई इंजीनियर है जो हैकाथॉन में पार्ट ना ले? अरे ऐसा कोई इंजीनियर है जो हैकाथॉन में पार्ट ना ले? ऐसा कोई इंजीनियर है जो हैकाथॉन में पार्ट ना ले? ऐसा कोई इंजीनियर है जो हैकाथॉन में पार्ट ना ले? एक मिनट, ऐसा कोई इंजीनियर है जो हैकाथॉन में पार्ट ना ले? अरे ऐसा कोई इंजीनियर है जो हैकाथॉन में पार्ट ना ले? सुना क्या? सोलाना $5 मिलियन के प्राइजेस दे रहा है। सुना क्या? सोलाना $5 मिलियन के प्राइजेस दे रहा है। सुना? सोलाना $5 मिलियन के प्राइजेस दे रहा है। सुना क्या? सोलाना $5 मिलियन के प्राइजेस दे रहा है। सुना क्या? सोलाना $5 मिलियन का प्राइजेस दे रहा है। ए सुन, सोनाली समर कैंप का डेडलाइन आ रहा है, रजिस्टर किया क्या?
सर सोलाना
मैं सोनाली